So, Gage, talk to me a little bit, man. How'd you first get into insurance?
Well, it definitely wasn't by choice. It was in a situation where I was working in the hospitality industry, and they literally were like telling me, "Hey, man, you wait a year, you'll get a raise. You'll wait a year, you'll get a raise." So I kept my mouth quiet and continued to help this business scale and grow. And then that year came around, and they're like, "Well, when I was in your shoes, I just had to, I just had to keep working hard." And that was the moment in time that I had never wanted to have my income in someone else's hands. And a buddy of mine was in insurance and had originally tried to introduce me to the opportunity, but I was very closed-minded at the time because I never see myself being in sales or insurance for that matter. And I was like, what do I have to lose? I've never been in a commission sales role. I've never explored the insurance world. Like, it couldn't be any worse than the situation that I was in. So
How old were you?
I was 25 years old at the time, just had turned 25. And it's been a wild ride, to be honest with you, because I never thought I would enjoy it this much. And I never thought that I would become so passionate about life insurance. As cringy as that word can be for people, I think that it is a industry that a lot of people have the wrong mindset, or they've gotten the wrong impression of how the industry works. And I mean, truthfully, there's nothing better than being able to work for yourself, and that's really how I got into it in an unorthodox way, just because I wasn't
So
treated
from
right.
hospitality to here, I mean, certainly now, right? You're big change in terms of income,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you had your significant other over here to take care of as well.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that changed too, because here you are sitting here.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I'll make some assumptions, but you tell your story. Like, you got into it probably by extension to him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw obviously Gage grow here, and I was like, wow, it's really cool to see him like making the income that he should have made at his other company, just because of his
Sure.
work ethic. And I think everyone should get paid what they're worth due to their work ethic, which other jobs, you don't. You got to just work
It's on
and
paper. And it
yeah,
comes
and
to
you got a
your-
cap
yeah.
on your head. You can't make it past that. So I definitely joined, obviously, just wanting to help Gage out, and also I had just recently had to ask like my boss to go home for Easter, and he was like, "No, like you can't go home." I was like, "What?" And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna work for myself and be able to like not have anyone tell me what I can do, what I can't do.
Yeah.
So that was really what kind of flipped the switch for me.
For sure.
What about you, Jess?
I mean, I took a panic job when my wife told me she was pregnant with our first kid, and it was like $30,000 a year at a bank, and the job I had before that I was making double that. But I took this because it had benefits. The other one didn't, and I panicked. And it's kind of looking back on it, was silly because like my wife had a job with good benefits. We were under her benefits, but in my head I was like, I gotta be
The man.
yeah, right. Like, it's not even the minimum. Like, I gotta like contribute to every part of this.
Yeah.
Right?
Provider.
And provide and take care of my family. And like a year into it, I was just like, what am I doing? Like I got to get out of here and
Right.
do something else. And Rob Richmond was one of my clients. We had mutual friends. He was one of my clients at the bank, and we'd kind of become friends. And I reached out to him just to tell him that I was leaving the bank, and if he was only keeping his accounts there because of me, feel free to move your stuff. I'm not gonna be there anymore. And I mean, now I can tell you he pounced. And he was like, oh yeah, like, hey, let's meet up for lunch tomorrow. Like, you can tell me about
Right.
what your plan is. And like, I'm like, oh cool, like Rob wants to hang out on a Tuesday. Like, this is awesome. I'm not gonna be bored tomorrow. And I think I showed up in like mesh shorts and sandals in like the middle of the summer. Rob walks in a suit, to this restaurant.
Ready for an interview?
Yeah, and like gives me the whole pitch. And I remember it was funny. He kind of pitched it to me as like, come slow walk it and like do your thing, work with me part time until while you interview and figure out where you're going next.
Right.
I literally never did another interview. worked the first couple weeks. I was probably extremely part-time, but still made more than I was making
Right.
at the bank. And then, got kind of settled in and figured it out. And, that was in September, I think, that I started with him. By January, I was at, the top of the list in that agency and never looked back. And
Isn't that funny when you think about it too? Like you took that $30K job because they had benefits, and then when you start making like commission-based money, you're like, wait. So that was all just a scheme. Like,
yeah,
I could pay for my own benefits with the amount of money I'm making.
Definitely. I mean, I was lucky I didn't have to pay for them because of my own, but I could have easily.
Right.
And I wouldn't have known the difference.
Yeah.
And that was huge for me. I know your story is pretty interesting. Why don't you tell us this?
As far as how I got started in the industry?
Yeah.
I mean,
your backstory probably contributes to some of that.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say my backstory, I worked all types of jobs. I mean, logistics, fast food, restaurant industry, I mean, everything. And then it got to a point where I was working, studying for my human resource degree. I landed a job, first time job. I was so happy. It was in the corporate office, made good money. But over a course of a month, just 1 month, it took me to realize, like, what am I doing with my life? Because I was like, I get it, it's a nice job, good benefits, good pay, but it's like, there was no
passion.
No real passion, no real, I didn't feel happy, if that makes sense.
It wasn't excitement.
Yeah, there was no excitement. And don't get me wrong, like, I don't need things to change every day, but it just got to the same routine. It got really boring, and so I was like, I don't mind the job. And so just decided to, one of my friends who doesn't no longer work in the industry, he invited me over to a practice company. Thought it was a great opportunity at the time and took it, killed it, and just stayed with it. And then, a lot of courses happened during my life. You guys know my story, kidney transplant, dialysis, the whole nine. And during that time, I realized, life is, you only got one shot at it, make the best out of it. So, during that time, it was a really tough mental battle, But, I told myself, all right, if I could do this and still work at my practice company, which really sucked compared to what I'm doing now. And if I could survive that, I could do whatever the hell I want.
Right.
I could no matter what field I go to, if I went through all that and came out of it alive.
Seriously.
It's like, dude, I could conquer anything. So
yeah, no doubt.
It does empower you because you're just like, if I can work for myself, make my own schedule, give myself that discipline, like even if insurance doesn't work out for us, we know we can take those like key
Intangibles and bring them
things
elsewhere.
and take them wherever we go. Yeah.
exactly.
For sure.